We're waiting for the bill to be written and find out then what the president will do. A highly placed White House source told me a couple of hours ago, Harris, that the president has not made a decision, contrary to some other reporting out there, as to whether or not he is going to support this bill. He has not yet seen the text of it. It's likely that the text won't come to him until either late today or sometime tomorrow. All he knows about it right now is what has been passed along to his staff from members up on Capitol Hill who are part of the conference committee who are dealing with this. The president said yesterday in the cabinet room that there are aspects of this that he is not happy with, and I am told by White House officials there is a lot in this bill that the president has a real problem with. Listen to what he said in the Oval Office just a short time ago.
We haven't gotten it yet. We'll be getting it. We'll be looking for landmines, because you could have that. You know, it's been known to happen before to people. I appreciate all the work the Republicans have done, because they're really going against a radical left. It's a radical left, and they're going against it very hard, and they're fighting. But we're in very good shape, and we're going to take a look at it when it comes. I don't want to see a shutdown. Shutdown would be a terrible thing.
Doesn't want to see a shutdown, but he also wants to have a chance for him, for the White House staff, and for DHS to go through this thing with a fine-tooth comb. Congress, meantime, pressing ahead with the bill. Listen to what the House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said a short time ago.
Let me say that the conferees have indicated that they pretty much reached agreement. Obviously, there's working on this, and we hope to have the papers done ready to go by tomorrow, and we hope to pass it by tomorrow night.
So here's what we know about the deal. It calls for $1.37 billion to create 50 miles of new border wall. That can be a design, anything that the Border Patrol wants, including the president's newly designed steel slat fence. It also includes $1.7 billion in funding for new border technology. The president already indicating, though, that he is going to spend more money than that. Tweeting this morning, was just presented the concept and parameters of the border security deal by hardworking Senator Richard Shelby, looking over all the aspects, knowing that this will be hooked up with lots of money from other sources. This concept of lots of money from other sources is the latest point of friction between the president and Democrats in Congress. The president's got what's called transfer authority. He can move some money already appropriated around inside the government, but if he were to take money from other agencies or from within DHS and put it toward a border wall, Congress would likely erupt. Listen to what Chuck Schumer said.
As for moving around the money, he needs congressional permission to do it. It was done in the past by President Obama and President Trump, but the Republicans controlled the House and gave him the okay. He doesn't have the authority to do it without House permission.
Now, we don't know if that is exactly true. We do know under the rules that the president has to inform Congress. Harris, as to whether or not they need to sign off on it is unclear. But certainly it sounds like Democrats would stand in the way of any attempt by the president to move money around for his wall. Harris?
All right. John Roberts teeing up the facts. Thank you very much.
Will you sign Congress's border deal?
I have to study it. I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy. But am I happy with where we're going? I'm thrilled, because we're supplementing things and moving things around, and we're doing things that are fantastic. The bottom line is we're building a lot of wall. Right now, we're building a lot of wall.
All right, let's talk to Sarah Sanders, White House press secretary. She joins us from the North Lawn of the White House. Good morning to you, Sarah.
Good morning. Good morning. Great to be with you guys.
It's great to have you as well. Okay, so it sounds like they're still writing this bill on the border compromise, and I know the language has been a problem, and some people are trying to put things in that could be deal breakers. We know the president doesn't like it, but he's probably going to sign it, right?
Look, we'll see what the final package looks like, but like you said, and like the president himself said yesterday, he's not happy about it, but he's okay because he's going to get the job done no matter what. He's got alternative options, and he's going to keep those on the table. Again, we'll see what the final package looks like, and the president will make a determination on whether or not he's going to sign it. But you can rest assured the president promised he was going to build the wall, and he's going to deliver, just like he said he was going to run for president and win, and he has. He said he was going to make better trade deals, and he has. He said he was going to rebuild the military, and he has. He said he was going to grow the economy, and he's done that. He's promised to build the wall, and he's going to get that done, too.
He also said that he doesn't believe that there will be another shutdown, indicating that he will sign it. So he will sign it, Sarah?
Again, the president wants to see what the final package looks like, and he'll make a decision at that point. They're still tinkering and making edits to that legislation, and once we see what the final piece looks like, the president can make that decision. Again, this has made some progress. Nancy Pelosi said she wasn't going to give $1 for the wall. This has roughly $1.4 billion that'll go towards the wall that the whole country knows that we need, knows that the president is going to make happen. In total, it gives about $23 billion in border security, which is desperately needed. It expands ICE versus abolishes ICE, like we've heard some Democrats talk about in the past. So there are some positives in this bill, but it's certainly not enough, and that's why the president's not happy. But at the same time, that's why while we've been negotiating this, the president and his team have been looking at every option possible to get the full funding they need in order to complete the wall.
Yeah, something else happened yesterday that's not getting as much attention, but the president did thank MSNBC, and that was that
there's a first time for everything.
Right. The Senator Burr, who chairs the investigative committee, was looking into Russia with the ranking member Warner, who's been out front really for the last 2 years, as if he was leading it, came out and said, we have found no evidence of President Trump colluding with Russia in the 2016 election. So this committee, which has been lauded from Republicans and Democrats for putting party aside, came to that conclusion. What's your reaction?
It's exactly what we've been saying all along. We're glad that they finally caught up. It's sad. It's hurtful for the country that it's taken 2 years to get there. But we're glad to see that they see what we have been saying all along, that there was absolutely no collusion. And I think it's time for everybody to be able to move on and move forward so we can focus on the big things that Americans actually care about. This certainly isn't one of them.
What about this? It will be interesting to see if they do move on. I doubt it. But a couple of nights ago in El Paso, somebody, obviously a supporter of the president because they were in attendance at the event, apparently tried to take out a BBC reporter or a camera guy or something like that. You have put out a statement that is over the line. People, you condemn any sort of attacks on anybody, right?
Absolutely, and the idea that the president or anybody on his team or in his administration would encourage violence is absolutely absurd. The president stopped, asked and made sure everyone was okay before continuing on with the event. Certainly we condemn violence in any form against anyone, and that certainly includes the press.
Most people are not focusing on something that could impact the world economy like nothing else, and that is China. How would you characterize where we're at right now, the China trade talks, and will the president push back the deadline for putting tariffs on that country and on those products?
We'll see what happens on whether or not the president makes a move to change the deadline. We've got a team that's in Beijing right now. Those conversations are ongoing. We expect them to go through the end of this week. We've seen progress on this front since the president started negotiating with President Xi, and we'll see what happens. I think it'll ultimately take the president, President Trump and President Xi sitting down face to face, figuring that out and getting that final deal, because I think they're the only two that will ultimately be able to nail that down. But we're certainly seeing progress, and we're glad that our team is on the ground and continuing those negotiations.
And Mar-a-Lago might be the place where they sit down. Is that correct?
It certainly could be. I think it would be a great venue. It's a beautiful property, and the president, I think it's a great place for the president to be able to have a different type of interaction with world leaders. We've seen it play very well in the past with both President Xi and Abe of Japan. So I think it would be a great location for the president to host any type of meeting like that.
Sarah, what type of an interaction can we expect with him and Kim Jong-un when they meet in Vietnam soon?
I think they've developed a good relationship over the course of the last several months. The first meeting and summit that the president had in Singapore was incredibly successful. They have shown signs of good faith, whether it was sending the hostages home, sending the remains of our soldiers back home, which several have now been identified and matched with their families. They have not been testing missiles and firing nuclear weapons off. So those are all positive signs and things that show that the relationship matters. The relationship that this president has developed, as he said before, if it wasn't for him, there's a very good chance we would be at war with North Korea. Instead, we're having peaceful sit-down conversations, and this is another great step in that relationship and in that process.
Well, there's been some good faith efforts, but you've heard from the intel people and others that there have been some bad faith things going on behind the scenes there as well.
And that's another reason the president needs to continue this relationship. The job isn't finished, and we'll see what happens, but it's important that we're taking steps and we're making progress. And as the president said, he's not in a hurry to get it done. He just wants to make sure we do it right and that eventually we see denuclearization of the peninsula.
Okay. Thanks, Sarah.
What are being called port hardening measures are in effect on the main international crossing bridge here. First of all, these giant shipping containers have been brought in. These can be moved around to keep large crowds at bay. You have all of the additional officers, and then these makeshift concertina wire fences that can be moved into place to seal the border off, down to the riot shields. Basically, they are prepared for anything that could potentially arise here. You can see all of this concertina wire back here. What you have is rebar that's actually stuck in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 concrete barriers with the concertina wire on it. And what happens is these can be placed in a row, effectively creating a fence sealing off the international border here.